Watch Rambler here. I am going to review a Wolf 458503 Windsor 15-piece black watch box. I'm going to compare that with the JinDiLong 12-slot solid wood storage box. Both can be found on Amazon. The Wolf box is about $155 and the JinDiLong box is roughly $50. The goal of this video is to walk through the basics of each watch box and why I ultimately decided to go with the Wolf watch box. This is the information that I wish I had before I bought the first watch box, which could have saved me a purchase. Because even though the JinDiLong is less expensive, it ended up costing me more in the long run because I ultimately needed to buy the Wolf watch box at the end anyway. Let me know any questions you have at the end. You can post your comments down below. And we'll follow it up with some images that depict the differences that I see between the two boxes. Hey guys, Watch Rambler here. Today I'm going to do a review of the Wolf watch box, and I'm going to compare it and contrast it with my prior watch box. I bought one off of Amazon. It was just a made in China, kind of reasonably priced watch box, which I like, but there are some things that didn't work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the subtle differences, so what you would get when you pay a little bit more for a watch box. Because to me, that was the one thing that I didn't understand when I bought my first watch box. I said, this looks good, seems to be well reviewed, so it should work. But the first and foremost, the thing that actually motivated the change for me was my wrist size. So I'm a bigger guy, I'm like 6'3", but I don't have huge wrists, and so as a result of that, when I have a linked watch, or watch with links on, I can't expand it so that I can fit it in the box, and if I leave the clasp open, then it pushes the watch up to the top, which I didn't really like, because then it just kind of looks sloppy in my watch box. And I got the watch box to look nice and showcase my watches. So we're going to go ahead and get into the review, but real quick, I will show you what I'm wearing today. I am wearing the Helgray Hornet. I love this watch. This is a great watch. I'm going to do a review of it a little bit later today, and then I'll upload that as well. So if you're interested in this watch, this is a 1980s pilot-inspired watch. I suggest you check it out because it's an amazing watch. Alright, well, let's get to the review, and I will show you the difference in the boxes. Alright, so looking at the box, this is the Wolf box. It is the 15-slot leather box. Overall, at first blush, you can see it has this plum color, which I really like. Let me open the lid so you can actually see the interior. So it has a plum color, which is nice, works really well. It has a key, so if you want to lock it, that works quite well. And the display is a full display, so you can actually see all of your watches. I just put a couple in for reference so you can kind of see how that works. Now what I'll do is I'll actually show me add an extra watch here, and so that way you can kind of see a couple of the key features. So this is just a silica packet, but the first thing, and it's kind of hard to see, but I'll show it here in a little bit. I'll just kind of walk you through it at a closer, with a closer image. But this is slanted, and the reason why it's slanted forwards is so that way you can showcase your watches, and your watches actually lean forward. So here we can just add it on, but before we do that, this cushion is actually part of the reason why I switched and went with the Wolf. So the Wolf, it has a collapsible cushion, so you can actually slide it in, you can collapse it on the sides, but the point is it's hard on the sides, and it's soft in the center. And so this is what makes it so if you have a watch that's on a metal clasp, or you have link links and you have a smaller wrist like myself, then you can actually fit it around these cushions. The second part of the cushions that I really like is that they're small. I mean, you know, you buy a watch and you love the watch. You love the aesthetics of the watch. You love the beauty of the watch. You know, there's so many things about the watch that you enjoy. And so you want to showcase the watch. You know, the other case that I have, which I'll show in a second, you don't do that. It's all cushion. And I'm actually going to grab a cushion here to show you the difference in size. So this is the cushion from the other box, and this is the cushion from the Wolf box. It's a night and day difference. You know, that's why it's really hard to fit something around it. The other thing is this one's a little squishy in the center, but the ends are very hard. It's like there's a wood block in here. So yeah, they're hard on the side, but it's like a wood block on the inside. Whereas this, you know, you can see it's completely compressible, so you can actually slide it around a watch. You know, put it in like so. That way it'll fit most watches and it'll fit nice and snugly. And then it sits at that slant. So you place this in there and you can actually see the cushion rock forwards. It's you know, slanted like I said. You can kind of see the angle right there. The angle works really well. It's got this leather finish, which looks nice. I have a couple other Wolf pieces. You know, they all have that kind of leather look. You can get different colors and whatnot, but I like this color, and I actually enjoy the plum. It tends to work pretty well. I call it plum. They actually call it something else. I don't know what they call it, but the point is I think it looks nice. And then when I close the lid, you can just see the watches. You don't see a lot of cushion. You don't see a lot of other things to distract you. You have nice placement for the watches. The black rims here between each watch has plenty of space. So if you wanted to go a lot larger, you could do that. Like this watch here, my Helgray, is 42 inches. So you can see that there's plenty of space when you put it in there. So that way if you have multiple watches that are 45, 46 inches, or excuse me, millimeters, 46 millimeters, 47 millimeters, yeah, 46-inch watch might not fit. But I think that's the key. So I don't want to, you know, drone on about this. This is box number 1. Box number 2 is right here. And this box it's nice. I mean, it's a good box. This is why I bought it. I think this one was $50 on Amazon, whereas the Wolf box was $150. So there is a sizable difference in price. This one looks good. I mean, it's not a bad looking box. You know, it has a metal clasp. But like I said, I have smaller wrists, and as a result, these cushions will not accommodate my watch. So let's say I have a metal bracelet, like my tag. So if I put my tag on here, I can't clasp it. You know, I can't close the clasp. It's too tight to actually close the clasp. So then I'm left with, well, do I just shove it in here, and then I can shove it in here? But if I do that, look how wobbly that is. I mean, granted, I could take more time with it, but how much time do you want to spend when you're putting your watch in your watch box? You know, if you're like me, you don't want to spend a lot of time. You know, you just want to put it in there. You want it to look well, look nice, you know, show the aesthetics of the watch, and then move on with your day. But this watch case makes that a little bit more difficult. So I think overall that's one of my major gripes. The other is this is flat and very deep. So I think that adds 2 issues. One is that you know, you're forced to dig. Like I'm like always digging to try to get these little cushions out. The other thing is there's very little space between both compartments. Whereas with the Wolf, there was a lot larger of space. And these are just like, you can kind of see, like as I'm pulling them up, this is just like an insert. I mean, it's just like a little mesh insert. So this can push down, this can pull up, but you can see the whole frame is mobile. So you have to kind of adjust it. I mean, at the end of the day though, if you're just looking for a good case, you have a big wrist, or I should say a larger wrist than mine. then I think that's something that you could look into. But you know, if this is if you're just looking for you're just looking for the basics, the aesthetics, you can get one of these for $50 on Amazon. It's a good box. It'll work well for the basics. But if you want something that really showcases your watches, I would suggest the Wolf box. This is my third Wolf box now, and you can just see a difference in quality. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Thanks for watching, and if you do have any questions, let me know. I can answer any questions you might have about the box. But either way, I'm very pleased with the Wolf box. Definitely recommend the Wolf box to anyone with smaller wrists or those looking for a nice leather finish. I mean, it is synthetic leather, but it has a nice finish, and it looks really good to display your watches. So now we'll walk through some of the basic dimensions here and the direct comparison between both watch cases. So here you can see the cases open. They both look really nice. Here is the front of each case. Once again, I think they both look great. Here you can see the open Wolf box. It's subtle, but the watches are slanted towards you. Here you can see the side angle where you see a nice slant, which gives this case just a little extra elegance. And the presentation style, I think, actually looks a lot nicer when you're looking at the box from any angle but directly above where the JinDiLong case would look equivalent to the Wolf case. So here you can see the JinDiLong case from above and then the case open, which does look nice, but it doesn't have that slant. So if you're looking at the case from any angle but above, it doesn't look quite as nice as the Wolf case. So major component that goes into buying a watch box should be, will your watches actually fit? So looking here, each cubby has roughly, if each watch is equivalent size and each watch overhangs the equivalent amount, you've got about 60 millimeters of space between each compartment. So that means you can have a roughly 60 millimeter watch, if they're all 60 millimeters, and that would be from case to crown. But if you have a smaller watch, then you could pair that with a larger watch. But roughly, if you're looking at, how many watches can you fit in that are roughly 60 millimeters or less, you could actually fit in 15 watches comfortably within the Wolf case. And here you have about 101.6 millimeters from front to back in the Wolf case. Now looking at the JinDiLong case, you have about, you'd be pushed or hard pressed to get in, I would say, a 55 millimeter watch. Now that, once again, it's case to crown. But if they were all 55 millimeters, it would be kind of squeezing it. So, that kind of gives you a sense as to how much more space there is in the Wolf case. And then here from front to back, you have roughly 95 millimeters. And then depth-wise, you have about 41 millimeters in the JinDiLong case, whereas you have 45, 46 in the front of the Wolf case. Now remember, it is at a slant, so in the back of the Wolf case, you'll notice that there's about 30 millimeters. So this gives that nice, luxurious kind of showcase feel. Cushions, you can see the size difference here. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. The Wolf cushion is a much more appropriate size, I believe. So it's about 60 millimeters long, width overall, which is 37 millimeters. So now you have the front of the showcase, or the top to the bottom, and that's roughly 32 millimeters. Then the JinDiLong side to side is about 46 millimeters. Front to back is about 70 millimeters. And then from the top to bottom, it's about 40 millimeters. So as you can see, there are a lot of differences between these two cases. But I think the thing that's important to think about is it's not just how the case looks, it's how the case will fit your watches. And I found that even though the JinDiLong case looks great and I like the case, it just doesn't fit my watches. I wish it did though, because for $100 less, you can have the JinDiLong case. So if you do have a thicker wrist, then I think you would be just fine going with the JinDiLong. Just to kind of give you a sense as to my overall wrist, from the outside to the inside of my wrist, it's about 55 millimeters. So, it's not that, they're not that big, but they're not that small either. So anyway, I think that it's something to think about, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Definitely leave me comments if you have any suggestions. If you want me to review any other Wolf products, I'd be happy to do that. I also have the Wolf Winder, the small travel case by Wolf. But overall, I've been very, very pleased with Wolf products. They're all handmade. It's a generational family. So it's basically the great-great-grandfather of the current Wolf that's running the company, that started the company. So they've gradually, transitioned to different countries and expanded their operations. But I think the key is, even with all this expansion, they still make a really high-quality product. Okay, so I think that just about sums up the differences that I found between the JinDiLong and the Wolf case. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think.